greatest sports debate show on the internet.
Jalen Carter does not dive for his knee.
He grabbed his knee, though,
it was a dirty play. That was a football play.
You don't get to talk anymore.
Football play.
You don't get to talk anymore, sir.
Championship rings, starring Brandon Lewis.
Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions, and welcome to Championship Rings.
And Josh Ungar.
Buddy. So, who was right about the Indiana Pacers making it to the conference finals?
Well, let's see. Jalen Brunson gets hurt, and Alex Burke gets hurt, and Mitchell Robinson gets hurt, and Josh Hart gets hurt. You have the easiest road to the Eastern Conference Finals this side of the Boston Celtics. So, were you right, or was it the NBA gods saying, let Josh Ungar be the only person in the world to pick the Indiana Pacers?
Nope, I was right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Begin now.
Hey, Brandon.
Go ahead.
Hey, Brandon, how are you feeling about your Philadelphia Eagles' chances to repeat as NFC East Division champions and finally break that long streak of no team repeating as division champions? I mean, you've got the New York Giants, who are straight garbage, no offense, and then you've got both Jerry's team, or should I say America's team, having their own issues. And then the Washington Commanders don't want to trade don't want to pay, rather, Terry McLaurin. So as an Eagles fan, you got to be feeling pretty good.
I'll give you my answer on August 31st when we do our NFL predictions. Thanks for hijacking the intro as we are live on this Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. This is the season finale of Championship Rings. As Josh already mentioned, NFL training camp is in full swing. We got some NBA contract news. We got SummerSlam to talk about. I'm wearing the damn shirt. And so I can't wait for tonight. I think this is going to be one of our great shows. Let's do it.
Yeah. What is it with the Commanders and Dallas Cowboys going, oh, you are two of our best players, but we don't want to pay you? I'm more upset personally about the Washington Commanders and Terry McLaurin because think about this. Without Jamar Chase, the Cincinnati Bengals were nothing, even when they drafted Joe Burrow. Before the Minnesota Vikings drafted Justin Jefferson, they were not the top contender that many have viewed them to be in the past couple seasons. Wide receiver has become one of the more important positions. And it's very rare that you find a wide receiver who directly affects how good of a team you are. Terry McLaurin absolutely fits into that category. Look at how Washington took off once Jaden Daniels found that connection with Terry McLaurin last season. And I've talked about this. Once those two found it, Washington took off. I think they had like 6 comeback victories last season. If the Commanders do not pay Terry McLaurin and he's not there, they're not going to live up to the expectations that fans like us and media experts have laid out for them. You know, they went on this magic carpet ride and made it to the NFC Championship before losing to your Philadelphia Eagles. But still, wide receiver has become that important that you got guys like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
How about A.J. Brown?
Yes.
My Philadelphia Eagles would not be a perennial Super Bowl contender the last 2 out of the last 3 years without number 11. That's when Jalen Hurts took off into an elite quarterback, in my opinion.
So you understand my overall point then?
Absolutely. Now, I do think for some teams are more wide receiver dependent than others. Some quarterbacks are more wide receiver dependent than others. Like we've seen Josh Allen, right? They get rid of their 2 receivers, and Amari Cooper just freaking retired because no one wanted to sign him, and they didn't miss a beat. Where some offenses, like you mentioned, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Minnesota, they do need wide receivers. And we said last week when we talked about this with Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin, all trade requests and all contract negotiations are not the same. These two are completely different. And in the Commanders' case, we both agreed last week that Jaden Daniels is on a rookie contract. They just traded for Deebo Samuel, who some people view is sort of entering the downside of his career, even at 30, because he plays like a running back and he takes so many hits. And it's like Terry McLaurin, outside of Jaden Daniels, to me, is easily your second best offensive player. And I agree with you that I don't know if it would have a dramatic effect on the Commanders, but does it take a win or two off the table? I believe it would. And I also believe that that will be the difference between whether they win the division or whether they even make the playoffs, because the NFC this year is not, the top is good, the bottom is low, the way it has been the last few years. There's a lot of good teams now all of a sudden in the NFC with young quarterbacks.
So I have to disagree with you. If they don't have Terry McLaurin, I do think it would have a dramatic impact.
So let me ask you this. For the sake of argument, I believe their over-under win total is at 9.5. For the sake of argument, let's say with McLaurin, their floor is 10 wins. How far do you think without McLaurin they dropped? 7? 6?
Yeah, at least.
Wow. So you think he's that important?
Yes, I do. I really do. Because as I said, they had 6 comeback victories last season. Granted, a lot of that is because of Jaden Daniels, but it's also because of that connection that you saw really get established between Jaden and Terry McLaurin. I know that they have other weapons like McCaffrey, Brian Robinson, Noah Brown, but their offense is not the same without Terry McLaurin. And this guy has been in Washington through all of the bad times with Dan Snyder and all the other quarterbacks and head coaches and all that, and you're not willing to pay him?
That to me is the weird part about it, because I would kind of get it if it was the old regime, but this is the new regime. You're supposed to get off to a good foot with your players, pay your guys. You just made the NFC Championship. I get it. There's a little fear factor of, oh, he's 30. Maybe it's not going to be worth the money in a couple years. The good general managers and the good teams figure out the salary cap and they move off players. They give players extensions and then they move off them 1 year later. So to me, I think what's going to end up happening here is McLaurin's going to come back probably on a reworked 1 year deal. I don't think they're going to give him a contract extension, and they're going to see how it plays out this year. And if he does ball out, it gives him an opportunity to next year test the open market.
If I'm the Commanders, I don't want to play with fire like that. But hey, America's team clearly wants to play with fire. I don't get what Jerry Jones is doing.
Let me start with this one, because I disagree with you completely. I am actually pro Jerry on this, and it's not me being an Eagles fan and being a Cowboy homer. Josh, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll give you a little spoiler here. I think the Cowboys are going to be bad with or without Micah Parsons. I think they're a bad football team with a lot of holes and a terrible head coach who showed up the other day at training camp wearing a visor backwards. Yeah, not the greatest look for a first-time head coach. If I'm the Cowboys, you know what I do? I try to find a team like the Patriots that have a young quarterback on a cheap rookie deal, and I think you try to move and trade Micah Parsons. Just like I advocated for the Browns to do with Myles Garrett this past offseason. Now, they ended up paying Myles Garrett $40 million a year. If they do sign Micah Parsons, he's going to get $40, $41, $42, $43 million a year. Last week, we went through and we talked about, Jalen Carter, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson. Some people want to put Jared Verse from the Rams potentially in that conversation of one of the best pass rushers in the league. Micah has not shown up in the playoffs. And again, I get he's a phenomenal player. But for the Cowboys, they're already cap strapped with Dak. That was a terrible contract they gave out. They hindered themselves by giving out Ezekiel Elliott the big money, years back in 2019, 2020, whatever it is. Like, my best guess is, like I said last week, Jerry's playing pawn and they're going to do Cowboys things and they're going to give Michael $41 million a year. But I wouldn't. I would actually try to trade him.
I see what you're saying, but we've seen this with the Cowboys. They gave Dak his contract extension literally hours before kickoff against the Browns last season.
And again, I said it last week. It's what Jerry's going to do with Micah. You want to bet on the opening day of the season when the Philadelphia Eagles are raising their Super Bowl banner that Jerry Jones wants to be in the headlines? How would you want to bet that day Micah Parsons announces he signed an extension with the Cowboys?
It would not surprise me. And they came right down to the wire with giving CeeDee Lamb the extension. This is just the Cowboys' way. It is honestly frustrating to see how the Cowboys handle themselves. I don't get it. I laugh at it, honestly. But I also I hate to say I feel bad for them, but I kind of do. You're supposed to be, the team everybody looks at and goes, I want to be that. And yet they're not.
Well, if you care about branding, if you care about marketing, that's what they are. They are what the Lakers have been the past 7 years until they traded for Luka Doncic.
Yeah. And there's no Luka growing on trees for them to trade for.
They are a bigger brand than a football team at that point, which to my point is, again, I don't care if they got Micah or not. I see no way in hell the Cowboys are a playoff team this year. I'll tell you that right now.
To that point, I can see Carolina jumping them and stealing a wild card spot.
I think they're about there at the same level. We had a little bit of breaking news before the show started today from Mary Kay Cab out of Cleveland.com just a little while ago, Josh. I'm not even sure if you saw this.
I did see this.
Shedeur Sanders is going to start the first preseason game for the Browns. Now, we do know I have been advocating for this. I think Shedeur is the best quarterback on the Browns roster. We know Kenny Pickett is injured. We know Dylan Gabriel not only looked terrible in training camp where it looks like he can't even throw past 5 yards on the field, but he just looked small and terrible. And they bring back Tyler Huntley to play quarterback. Who knows what the hell is going on in the Browns organization? I mean, it's such a typical Cleveland thing to do. But regardless, I said I don't watch preseason football unless it's the 2025 Browns. I'm watching this Friday night.
Yeah, I'm going to DVR it. I'm going to DVR every Browns preseason game. I'll probably DVR every Browns game this season, but whatever. That's just the type of fan I am. But the Browns circus continues. If it's not one thing, it's another. That's the best way I can put it. But in terms of Shedeur starting, I'm not putting too much stock into it. It's the first preseason game. They're on the road at the Carolina Panthers. It's not like he's going to be going against the number ones and the number two.
Actually, he is. The Panthers announced they're playing their starters.
What? In the first preseason game?
Yes. In the first two, they're going to be playing their starters, and then they'll use the third preseason game they set for backups.
Okay, I stand corrected, because typically it's the first and usually second preseason games where you see the backups and the third stringers and the fourth stringers.
Well, in this new format, it sort of differentiates by team. When we had 4 preseason games, the third one was always the dress rehearsal game. Now teams sort of pick which one they want to use as the dress rehearsal game.
So this is going to be interesting if, in fact, the Panthers actually are playing their starters to see how I almost said Bryce Young. No, Shedeur Sanders does. especially if the Browns play some of their starters.
And by the way, Shedeur has had no first-team reps.
Yeah, which that makes the whole thing even more confusing. If I had to guess, Joe Flacco is going to be the starter week 1 against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in round 1 of the Battle of Ohio. It just makes sense. They brought him back for a reason. I don't expect Joe Flacco to play at all in the preseason, but I'm really not taking much stock into this.
See, I agree with you. I think Flacco probably is going to start. I've been advocating since they drafted him in late April. It's the wrong move. I don't think you're going anywhere with Joe Flacco. What is the point of having Joe Flacco start games for a team that won 3 games last year?
I don't know. I don't know. You look at the Browns' schedule in the first 5 games. They've got the Bengals. Then they're at the Ravens, Packers, Lions, Vikings. Those are their first 5 games.
3 out of those 5 teams made the playoffs last year. Actually, I think 4 out of the 5. The only one that didn't was Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And you could make an argument if Kansas City had to play their starters against Denver and Denver didn't sneak into the postseason, maybe Cincinnati does get it.
Yeah. So tell me where the easy win is in those first 5 games.
See, the funny thing is, right, the NFL now with rookies is always the debate of, oh my God, you don't want to destroy the guy's confidence. There is a guy on the other side of the field Friday night in Carolina named Bryce Young, who the Panthers threw him to the Wolves. It was a bad coaching staff. He had a terrible rookie year, and he had a terrible start to his sophomore year that Andy Dalton had to come in because Bryce Young looked like he literally did not belong on an NFL field. And when Bryce Young came back, Josh, I'm dead serious. Watch highlights of it. He looked like a top 10 quarterback the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I thought the Panthers were going to dig their way out of the hole. By
the way, they should have beat the 2 representatives in the Super Bowl back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, and I think if they had won those 2 games, they might have been able to dig their way out and sneak into the playoffs.
And don't forget, they should have beat Tampa. Remember that home game against Tampa that went to overtime? I think Chuba Hubbard fumbled.
Yeah. Carolina's going to be a very dangerous team this season.
So my point is to that. There's this old debate of, oh, we want the veteran to start. You don't want to throw the rookie quarterback to the Wolves. This is Shedeur Sanders. This is Deion Sanders' son. He had nothing to play with outside of Travis Hunter at Colorado. He was running for his life behind a bad offensive line. Like, this kid to me is mentally tough. He could take, I think, going out there and taking a beating early. To me, the only reason why they're not going to start him is because we know, now Jimmy Haslam said Andrew Berry made the draft pick, but deep down we know that's not true. And that's why, to me, if Dylan Gabriel was healthy, he probably would have started this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Dylan Gabriel is healthy. He'll probably start next week in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because Nick Sirianni typically does not play his preseason guys, especially on offense. Defensively, you may see a couple of guys. I wouldn't suspect a Jalen Carter, but maybe like a Nolan Smith. Maybe a Cooper DeJean.
Eagles doing like a joint practice next week?
They are, and that's why I don't suspect a lot of starters to play because typically you get your work in these joint practices and then the game is used for the backups.
That's what I thought. Because our preseason schedule goes at Panthers, at Eagles, home against the Rams.
And that at Eagles and home against the Rams, both those games are on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's weird. And then this game against the Panthers is on Sunday, I think?
No, it's Friday night. It's this coming Friday night.
Oh, at 8 p.m., I believe.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to tune in and watch it, but I don't know what to make of the Browns. Like, it wasn't surprising that they drafted Shedeur. The fact that he's getting this start again, like, Is it big news? Yes. But am I putting a lot of stock into it? No. Especially because, as you said, he hasn't played first team reps.
Oh,
Like,
I will never believe in preseason that much again after I saw what 2015 Sam Bradford looked like for the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought we were going to the Super Bowl, and Chip Kelly got fired. And in 2017, I'll add one more. 2017, I thought Deshaun Kaiser looked like a legit NFL quarterback in the preseason.
yeah.
How'd that work out?
0-16.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like, there was a season where the Browns went undefeated in preseason. It might have been that 2017 season.
It was. They went 4-0 in the preseason and then 0-16 in the regular season.
After that 4-0 preseason, I'm like, okay, maybe.
There's a Facebook post I have where the Browns went 4-0 in the preseason, and I said something like I wouldn't be surprised if they go 0-17 or something. It's on my memory. I'll have to dig it up on the day it comes back up.
But it's just like with the Browns, it's anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So
some things went right for these two NBA franchises. We got some contract extensions to talk about. Luka Doncic with the Lakers, De'Aaron Fox with the Spurs have signed extensions.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the De'Aaron Fox extension with the Spurs, mostly because they drafted Dylan Harper this season. So by signing De'Aaron Fox to an extension, where does that leave Dylan Harper?
And Stephon Castle.
Yeah. So I find the Spurs to be more intriguing. Not that Luka signing with the Lakers isn't interesting, but because of that whole dynamic and the fact that you got a first-year head coach, you got a unicorn in Victor Wembanyama, people are picking the Spurs to actually make the jump and get into the top 6 in the West.
I was going to say, not only just get into the play-in, but skip the play-in. Some people have them as a 5-6 seed.
Yeah, I would put them in that tier, like a 4 to 6 range.
Yeah, like, okay, so I'll lump the Lakers in here for 1 second.
Go ahead.
I think in the Western Conference, the top 3 seeds are clearly Oklahoma City, Houston, and Denver. I think after that, you have the Lakers. You have the Spurs. You have the Warriors. You have Minnesota. You have probably Dallas if Kyrie Irving gets healthy. You have the Clippers. So that to me is like your second group where it's like 4 through 10 are probably going to be these teams. It's what seed do they end up at?
Right. I would not. I thought about Memphis, but probably not.
Right. So, no, I agree with you. Let me ask you this. Do you think the Spurs, I know they just signed De'Aaron Fox, as we're talking about, but they do have these young kids. I wonder if they are playing their cards and waiting till either February or next summer to see if the Greek Freak is available.
And use De'Aaron Fox as a trade piece?
Either him or Harper or Castle, 2 of the 3, or maybe 1 of the 3 and draft picks.
It is a possibility, but I don't know if you... Yeah, that's a tough one.
Basically, here's the thing. Unless Stephon Castle becomes what Jalen Williams became to SGA, they will not be perennial championship contenders in the West unless they go and get Giannis. Could you imagine a front line of Giannis and Victor Wembanyama? How are you going to score?
I don't know. That would be very difficult. I'd love to see them on Christmas, but we don't know what the Christmas schedule is.
By the way, I thought we did, and I got duped. I sent you a text and then realized it was a Shams parody tweet.
I know. I haven't even looked at the text yet, and I already know what parody tweet you're looking at. I know exactly what, because I got bamboozled by that same one. But looking at going over to the Lakers side of this, it's not surprising that Luka signed this extension. We all saw it coming. So that's why, like, the Spurs part of the equation was more interesting to me. Do I think it makes the Lakers like championship contenders? No. It keeps them top 6 in the West, but like a 40-year-old LeBron, he'll give you what, 20 points a game probably?
Maybe closer to 22, 20. Well, I don't know. Maybe LeBron this year, now that they're going to have a full year of Luka, maybe he goes from 23, 8-8 to 17, 10-6. Like maybe he gets more assists and they're going to let Luka sort of be the ball handler.
Yeah, but it's like, other than Luka and LeBron, I don't really see anybody else on the Lakers that truly stands out. Like,
well, they made no moves this offseason. What this move for Luka did, all it did was, if these are the keys to the Laker kingdom and they were in LeBron's hands, they have now passed officially to Luka Doncic. This will be the first time in LeBron James' career that he enters a season not the best player on the team. I know when he went to Miami, it was Dwayne Wade's team technically, but Dwayne Wade pretty much passed the torch to LeBron and said, "Here, King, go be the best player in the world." This is different. And I think LeBron is upset the Lakers have not involved him in offseason discussions. It is a new reality for him. Now, do I think, again, he's going to request a trade? I do not. I agree with you. He's going to start this season on the Laker roster. And, again, they got Luka. They got LeBron. They got Austin Reeves, who some nights can be really good and other nights he can be really bad.
Hence why I'm giving you the shrug reaction. Like, okay.
I mean, here's the thing. I like Austin Reeves as a really good player. He reminds me of like a bigger Derek White for Boston. Where like if he was your 4, like Derek White was on that Boston championship team, then you're good. He just can't be your 3rd guy, especially. Here's the other thing. Luka and LeBron now in his later years are injury prone. I mean, are we sure these guys are going to play 60 games together?
I don't know. And do you fully trust I'm trying to remember head coach's name.
JJ Redick.
Yeah, do you fully trust JJ?
I do. I like JJ. I think he's smart. I think he's young. I think he's innovative. I don't trust the roster because I don't know, outside of DeAndre Ayton, that was their biggest offseason move. They got one big and he's not even dependable.
Yeah, I don't know what the Lakers are doing. They tried trading for Mark Williams, but he failed the physical, so that didn't work. So I don't know.
I'm wondering if this year's NBA trade deadline in about 6 months, if we're going to have a bomb drop where either Giannis gets traded or, I'm going to throw it out there, LeBron.
Maybe.
If the Lakers are struggling. Now, again, I don't know if you saw this report a couple of weeks ago. We didn't talk about it, but there was a report out there, I think it was from The Athletic, that said that many people in the NBA believe this could be LeBron's last year. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I actually thought last year could have been. But I don't know, man. The Lakers are in a weird spot right now.
Yeah, they are. Is it weird for me to say that I feel better about the Spurs than I do the Lakers?
Not at all.
Okay. Because I honestly do. Even with that 3-way logjam of Castle, Harper, and Fox, I like the pairing of De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. And maybe there's a way you can do it where Fox is the point guard, Harper plays more of the shooting guard, and maybe that partnership works.
Now, I'll say this. Out of every duo combination on the court between the Lakers and the Spurs, I think the Lakers have still the 2 best players in LeBron and Luka. I think Wemby will probably surpass LeBron by the end of this year. And so I think that's the difference. I think Wemby takes a huge step. And I think, again, like, could it be possible the Lakers and Spurs finish with around the same record, around the same seed? They kind of feel like the same team.
Yeah. That I could see that being a first-round matchup. Like, the two teams jockeying for 4
Maybe it's a 4 or 5, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right, shall we get to the wrestling that happened this weekend at MetLife Stadium? 2 nights of SummerSlam. Oh my goodness, Josh, where do we start?
There's so much to talk about with this show, good and bad.
Should we start with Saturday and work our way to Sunday?
Yeah, but overall, I liked the show. There were a couple matches that I'm like, why is this on SummerSlam? Why? But overall, I liked it. I will say my favorite match of night 1, I wasn't expecting this, but it was that opening tag team match. I really liked it.
I think it was the second best match on the card. It could have been third. By the way, I know we're skipping around here. I'll just say this. I thought Jelly Roll absolutely killed it. And I enjoyed that tag match a lot. I was surprised by the outcome, and I liked it. I like the fact that Logan and Drew got the win because I think it could mean Jelly Roll comes back, and maybe we get Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul down the line, WrestleMania in Las Vegas. But I don't know. I thought like night 1, like you, I thought it was okay. I thought night 2 was better personally. There were some matches on night 1.
One issue with night 2, as much as I loved night 2, I do have one little issue with it.
I have one issue with it too. There was one match I was not happy about. I think we might be in common consensus on it.
Okay. But my one little issue was basically every match on night 2 was no DQ, no DQ, no DQ. And I know that Dom versus AJ was supposed to be a standard match, but it wasn't. And so
I did think the way they ordered the card was strange. We said that beforehand. There was 3 tag matches on night 1. None of the matches on night 1 had a stipulation. Then 5 out of the 6 on night 2 had a stipulation.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it felt like all 6 matches had stipulations.
Okay, that's fair.
And not that I didn't enjoy them, but it felt like at times we were repeating spots, and it didn't.
I felt that when they went from the Women's Intercontinental Championship match to the Steel Cage match.
Yeah. By the way, I loved the Women's Intercontinental.
Oh, absolutely killed it. The TLC match, which I thought was great, complete car crash. I thought, why are they following Becky and Lyra up with the TLC? I was like, that's such a terrible spot for them.
No, you have it the other way. They did TLC.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They did TLC first, and then they had Becky and Lyra follow it. Yeah. And I thought it was a terrible spot for them, but those 2 ladies absolutely killed it.
And aside from, wait, I'm supposed to keep the zip tie on.
Listen, that was one of the best Extreme Rules or whatever you want to call it matches in WWE we've seen in a long time. Maybe outside of Punk and Drew at Hell in a Cell, because it felt like a real blow-off blood feud. They used different weapons, a crowbar, a zip tie, a legitimate toolbox. Yeah. Kendo sticks.
Wait, when that toolbox came out, did you get flashbacks to 2019 Hell in a Cell?
I did not. But Becky using it as a weapon, I absolutely enjoyed because we've never seen any.
I certainly got flashbacks to 2019 Hell in a Cell, Fiend versus Seth Rollins. Toolbox comes in. Nope, you can't do that. You can't do that.
That might be the most infamous match in the history of professional wrestling. It might be one day.
Yeah. But like I told you countless times, going into Money in the Bank, that was the match I was most excited about and interested in, was Becky versus Lyra. And it was the same here because I've just been so invested in that feud, and the way they worked Bayley into it at Evolution was
and you called Becky retaining, and I'll give you credit on that.
Yeah. And since she's come up to the main roster, and even going back to, when she feuded with Roxanne over the NXT Women's Championship and her feud with Becky over the NXT Women's Championship, I've been a big fan of Lyra Valkyria. I think she should have beat Nia Jax in Queen of the Ring last year, but she didn't. And now that it seems like she's done with this Becky thing, she should feud with Bayley, and then I would push her into the main title scene. I really would.
I think she definitely needed to work on her promos, which I think this feud did. The problem is right now, Josh, while I might agree with you, she should be in the world title scene on any brand. I'd prefer her to be on the SmackDown title scene because I think Raw's got a logjam right now at the top.
By the way, just look, that triple threat match was unbelievable. And
I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was as good as the WrestleMania triple threat.
So, wow, that's surprising to me. Right before the match started, I actually made a prediction. I was like, Naomi's going to get out of the ring, and Io and Rhea are just going to proceed to, turn to each other and just start wailing on each other. But they didn't. They're like, well, Naomi's out there. Let's just go and get her.
Yeah, and of course, I did enjoy the finish because Rhea hits the riptide on Io. Naomi comes in, does the rope on Rhea by grabbing the tights, and it sets the stage for Rhea Ripley to eventually get her championship back from Naomi. That is
I'm not sure about that one.
Oh, no, that's like Survivor Series. That's Naomi and Ripley for the world title.
They could have Stephanie take the title off of Naomi at Clash in Paris, and then you give Stephanie a bunch of feuds, and then at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, Stephanie versus Rhea for the title.
I could see it. I don't think Naomi's going to have that short of a title reign. And I think they're building. I thought they were building towards Naomi and Jade at Crown Jewel. Now I think they're building towards Naomi against Tiff.
Well, first, before Naomi gets to Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris, she's got to get through Io Sky next week.
And listen, there was a time period where back in March, Rhea Ripley faced Io Sky on a Monday Night Raw, and we said there's no way Io's winning the title here, and she did. So, could she do it again? I guess it's possible.
Yeah. I would love to see an Io versus Stephanie Vaquer match in Paris.
Oh, I would not. I already told you. I don't buy Io Sky. I don't get the love for her at all. I think she's a terrible wrestler. I think that's the stupidest gimmick ever with her winning her. She can't, and not anything towards any country or anything. She can barely speak English. She doesn't cut many promos. She's this tall. I think Alexa Bliss might be taller than her, for God's sakes. I don't get the love for that woman. I don't. I'm sorry. I will never understand it.
I think she's great.
What does she do to captivate an audience? It's like this.
I think for me, it's her style of wrestling that she's the genius of the sky. And
because she does one move, a moonsault.
Well, the moonsault is pretty incredible, I gotta admit.
Charlotte does a better moonsault. Tiffy definitely does a better moonsault.
That's a match I'd love to see. Tiffany against Io. Ooh.
Now that I would agree because they're both similar heights.
But I totally get the love for Io. I'm fully in that camp. But those were two of my favorite matches was Becky and Lyra and the triple threat match. But Do you want to just go straight to the main event, or
Let's
what?
not beat around the bush. If you hate on this Punk and Gunther match, I'm going to do to you what you did to me and the Young Bucks. I thought this was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life.
It definitely was fantastic. I'm not going to lie. And
The way they set this up, this is what I tried to explain to you last week on the show. You mentioned it was only 2 weeks of promo, but the only thing they needed to tell in this story was CM Punk was the best in the world. Is he still the best in the world, or is Gunther now the best in the world? And Gunther kept playing it up. Like, he kept taunting CM Punk, and, even when he went for the sharpshooter, he's doing the pose. So you knew then and there Gunther was not winning this match. Gunther was going to get too cocky, and CM Punk was going to eventually catch him. But the way they did it, with Gunther just constantly beating down Punk with those shots that sounded like a frying pan hitting the chest of CM Punk. Then Gunther taunting on the announce table, and for Punk to drop him face first on the table, and for Gunther to come up, his face in a crimson mask. And this is what I tried to explain to you about Jon Moxley, is this is how you use blood. You don't have to bleed in every single match. Make blood matter, because Gunther being bloody was an absolute pop, because we've never seen it before. Gunther has never tasted his own blood, and for them to do it there, followed up by not one go to sleep, but 2 go to sleeps, not only protects Gunther and makes him a machine, because he wouldn't even fall down after the first go to sleep, but it protects CM Punk as well. This was a master class.
I loved the spot where Gunther kept looking like he was going to fall down, but he wouldn't.
Yes. And again, I thought this was a top 5 match I've ever seen live in my life. This was a master class of the sport that we love in professional wrestling.
It was definitely a fantastic match. I was surprised at how long it went.
I think it needed to be. And by the way, the show started at 6 p.m. It was over by 9:30, 9:40.
Yeah.
So it still felt light. It didn't feel like it went on for, I'm not going to say 6 hours, because the pay-per-view last month did go on for 6 hours.
But it was one of the best 6 hours I've ever spent in my life.
And I know it was. Listen, that was one of the best 3.5 hours I've ever spent in my life. And again, I got to say this before we move on. Randy Orton, Joey Roll, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre absolutely killed it.
I thought that tag team match was okay. I didn't think it was terrific or anything. I did love the frog splash Logan Paul hit.
Yes,
on the announce table.
And Joey Roll to take that bump. And again, I don't think this is the last we see of Joey Roll here.
I agree. This is not me trying to hate on Jelly Roll or disrespect Logan Paul in any way. But me personally, I would have preferred it to be just a straight up singles match. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. That's just my personal taste.
I wanted to ask you this, because you, as am I, are a big country fan. I never asked you. I'll ask you 2 things. Number 1, are you even a Joey Roll fan?
Not a huge Jelly Roll fan, no.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is, do you know about the local country music station we have here in Cleveland, 99.5 WGAR?
Yes.
Do you ever listen to the Bobby Bones show at all?
No.
The national, okay, it's the national syndicated radio show, syndicated all over the country. Well, they were talking about SummerSlam on Monday's show because of Joey Roll, and the host, Bobby Bones, a big wrestling fan. He was talking about how much he loves wrestling, and one of the co-hosts was absolutely shitting on wrestling, saying that it was the fakest thing she's ever heard. And they played Michael Cole's commentary of him saying Joey Roll's out cold, and she is laughing her ass off, talking about how is he out cold when this is choreographed. I thought it was hilarious.
And then we got the ruse of the century.
Yes, we did. And I got to be honest, they rused me all the way to the end, because when Rollins came out, I thought, oh, okay, he's just going to cut the promo. He's really hurt. He's not cashing in. I believed it all the way until he dropped the crutches. And then I said, oh, shit, it's happening.
Yeah. If I'm CM Punk, though, why did you continue to stand in the ring? Just run away.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I wanted to talk about. I get it. It was a jaw-dropping moment. It was awesome. What I would have liked is, instead of Rollins running down to the ring to hit Punk, when Rollins drops the crutches, why didn't you have Breakker and Reed come up from behind Punk and attack him?
Yeah, I know. Because, like, the moment Seth Rollins' music hit and he dropped the crutches, I just would have had Punk come out and meet him at the ramp and beat him up.
Or what you could have done is have Reed and Brunson attack him, have Rollins crutch himself down to the ring, then he drops the crutches. Maybe it would not have been as a dramatic moment, but I think it would have made more sense in the storyline aspect.
Yeah. It was overall, night one was good. You know, I do find it interesting that we had 3 tag team matches. And overall on the show, I think there were only 2 title changes. Right?
On night one.
No, I think overall.
No. Punk, Bliss, Charlotte, and then obviously Cody.
Oh. Well, okay. So what? 4?
No, that's 3. If you want to count Rollins, it's 4.
Yeah. But I was surprised Jacob Fatu did not win the United States Championship.
See, I was not. This is the match I wanted to talk to you about, because this one fell flat for me. This one never got out of second gear for me, and everybody I talked to said the same thing. Something was off about this match from the get-go. I predicted it to happen exactly the way it happened, where the MFTs were going to screw Solo out of the title because they want to build up these MFTs, because Solo to me is
screw Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, because they want to build up these MFTs, and Solo to me is a lot better in a group than he is on his own. But why they didn't even attempt to do a moonsault in the match, why he did it after the match when they left the 2 guys in the cage, the undramatic ending where Solo just fell out the door.
Yeah, I hate that. WWE needs to stop that whole thing. Like, the only way to win this match is by pinfall or submission. Stop with the...
Oh, no, I disagree with that, because the cage door thing has always been a thing, even dating back to the 80s. I mean, Jesse Ventura didn't know on the last Saturday night's main event, but that's always been a thing. Typically, cage matches used to only be able to be won by climbing over the top or through the door. You never used to be able to win by pinfall or submission.
It's so stupid.
But isn't that the point of a cage?
Like, to me, Solo didn't actually win the match. He didn't.
See, I would have booked it and have Fatu try to climb over the top, have Solo go for the door, and have Solo beat Fatu out.
Like, I would have if you were going to have Solo beat Fatu, have him hit the spinning Solo and pin him 1, 2, 3. What's wrong with that?
Well, this way it protects Jacob more.
But I hate it. I hated that steel cage match. It was for me, it was the second weakest match on the whole card. It was.
Yeah, I mean, right up there with Sammy and Cross, which did not get out of second gear, and it sounds like that would have been Karrion Kross's last appearance in WWE.
Yeah, the 3 weakest matches on the card for me were Sammy and Cross, steel cage match, and I'm sorry, but the Randy Jelly versus Drew and
wow, because I thought Randy and Joey absolutely killed it.
I thought that was one of the weakest matches on the card. I really did.
It is time now, Josh, to get into the main event. I'm in full costume, baby. You can't see me because the face turn is here. John Cena, Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship. Here we go.
So you don't want to start with the big return that we had, the very big and controversial return, might I add?
We'll talk about that after we get through the match. I thought this match was John Cena's best match in 10 years.
I very much enjoyed it. At the beginning, I'm like, why are they just having a regular standard match? This is a street fight. But then they decided to, get street fight elements in there and stuff. That was part of my issue was you had, the TLC match. You had Becky Lyra, which was no DQ. The opening match, whatever it was. Oh, you had the triple threat, which was no DQ, even though they didn't use no DQ stuff at all. But still, like, by the time we got to the main event, I'm like, me and a lot of the guys I was watching with were like, what is there left for Cena and Cody? You know what I mean?
Well, what was left for them is to go out into the crowd, for them to hit a Super AA, for them to hit a Super Crossroads, for Cena to kick out of a Super Crossroads, and we got Super Cena versus Super Cody, and we even got Cena bringing back the spot where he throws the big steel steps over the ring apron early on in the match. And my favorite spot of this whole match, I couldn't believe the shot they got. Tremendous camera work when they go underneath the ring and they come back up in the elevator shaft. And
you mean underneath the stage?
Yeah, and Cena's there, and he's got the look on his face like a heel Cena's back.
Yeah. Again, I kind of wish they hadn't just done the face turn on SmackDown. I would have preferred them to do it during this match. That's just me.
How do you do it during the match, though?
I don't know, but I think there.
If Cody doesn't turn heel, how do you do it?
I feel like they could have found it. I'm not sure, but knowing WWE, I feel like they could have pulled it off. To me, it just felt like, oh, we're just gonna end this. Let's have John turn babyface on SmackDown. That was like, really?
It was, but by the way, I think it worked. Did you hear the pop? That man got a Super Cena chair. What the hell has John Cena ever gotten a Super Cena chair? They used to get booed.
Oh, I'm not saying I had an issue with it. I just wish they would have let him stay heel through SmackDown and then somehow, some way turn babyface again during the match or something.
Well, Cody may not have turned heel, but there were signs that the heel turn's still coming.
Yeah, I agree with you.
When he cut off the rope, is when I thought, oh, were you like me? Were you waiting for like a ref bump or something?
Yeah, I thought for sure there was going to be a ref bump or something. Oh, we never addressed the CBS thing that we were talking that Grandizer asked last week. I forgot about that.
You're right. We did not. Sorry about that, Grandizer. But yeah, and let me just say this. I know they're doing the whole passing the torch moment. It was like The Rock to John Cena at WrestleMania 29, and Cody to Cena. Yeah, Grandizer, we did cover the Browns news, by the way, early on in the show. Go back and listen to it. But my point is this. In my opinion, John Cena did not pass the torch to Cody Rhodes. John Cena passed the torch to Roman Reigns, who then Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 passed the torch to Cody Rhodes. And I know they're trying to play it off on commentary like Cena to Rhodes and that babyface, but Cena hasn't been the face of the company for 10 years. It's Roman, and Roman to Cody was the passing of the torch.
Yeah. It did feel like a passing of the torch moment. Whether it was to Roman or Cody, I guess is debatable. It seemed like it was more towards Cody.
See, but what I'm saying is Cena did it to Roman. Roman did it to Cody. They didn't need to do this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I did like that it had the stipulation. Yeah. And that they kept kicking. I know you probably didn't love that they kept kicking out of each other's finishers because, I know that's your big issue.
Well, it is an issue for me, except for this match. Because you got Super Cena and you got Super Cody. And what bothered me is once Cena kicked out of the Triple Crossroads, I knew Cody was kicking out of the Triple AA and the Avalanche AA.
Yeah. I kind of would have liked it if the camera guys had followed Cody and Cena under the stage, but then you wouldn't have been able to get that shot.
Yep. All right. No more beating around the bush. Let's get into it. He's back. Doom, 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 doom.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to put this out there right now. Brock Lesnar has never been technically accused of anything. Look it up on the internet. You can disagree with me if you want. That's the truth. His name may be in the lawsuit, but he's never been accused of anything. As a matter of fact, most of the words that have been used in the lawsuit is former UFC heavyweight champion, which implies to be Lesnar. But technically, from everything I've heard, he has been cleared of all wrongdoings.
So we'll get maybe Grandizer, but I popped hard when Brock's music hit. I'm not gonna lie, but because of all the out of ring stuff in terms of the lawsuit and the allegations, I don't personally love it.
I don't think there's any way they bring him back if he had any involvement. I'm just going to say that. They have been very protective of distancing themselves away from Vince. Brock was banned from WWE for a long time because of the incident. And John Cena has basically come out and said, I want Brock Lesnar. I'm going to get Brock Lesnar. So fuck yes. Give me Cena. Give me Brock. Clash in Paris. I don't know what kind of match they're going to make it because I know it's not going to be a singles match. But if we get that and we get a WrestleMania program with Brock and we get a next year SummerSlam program with Brock and Gunther in Minneapolis to send Brock Lesnar into retirement, I'm good with it. I don't care.
See, I'm mostly okay with it, but with given all the legal stuff, not fully on board with it.
Here's the thing. WWE doesn't need Lesnar, but Lesnar makes WWE better. It's like Cena, right? They don't need Cena. Cena has main evented every WWE PLE this year, I'm pretty sure. They don't need him. But you know what? They're better with him.
Yeah, they definitely are. It'll be a good program. I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely interested. But again, am I excited about it? Yes. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to be at a 10. I really do. But because of all the out-of-ring stuff and the lawsuit, and we don't know all the facts. We don't. I understand what you're saying, and I fully respect what you're alluding to, Brandon. But for me, it's I don't have all the facts. I don't have all the information. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know who's talking out of their ass. So it's for me.
That's fair, and I understand it. For me, I don't know, man. That music just brings back everything. And it's Brock, again, I feel like Brock hasn't been accused of anything wrongdoing yet. Obviously, if something changes, and we can have a different conversation about it.
Right. It's not to compare Brock Lesnar to Hulk Hogan, but
Hogan's was caught on video. I mean, Hogan's a whole different thing.
But here's what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to compare the two situations. More so what I'm getting at is with both of them, it's hard to separate fact from fiction. That's what I'm getting at.
That's fair.
That's what I'm getting at.
Let me throw this at you real quick. I'm going to throw two things at you before we maybe for Grandizer we'll go back and talk about the Browns real quick. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to throw the War Games men's match out to you.
I think I have an idea of where this is going. I would guess it's going to be the Vision on one side with two other people.
So my guess is Rollins, Breaker, Reed, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And I think Lesnar maybe, but if you can't get Lesnar, Logan Paul.
I could see it. And then on the other side, you've got probably Roman Reigns, John Cena, CM Punk, LA Knight, maybe Sami Zayn.
Oh, no. I was going to say the other two are Cody and Jey Uso.
Oh, okay. The reason I'm throwing Sami Zayn in there is because since Rollins has that title, I feel like you have to do that feud.
I think Sammy's going to win the Royal Rumble next year in Saudi Arabia, and they're going to do Sammy and Rollins at WrestleMania 42 for the world title.
I would absolutely love that if they did that.
I also think we are setting the stage. I think we're going to get back to Roman and Cody. I said it last week. I believe it still. That may be where we do the heel turn, Josh. You know, does The Rock come out and screw his cousin? And after Roman tried to screw Cody over all those years, Cody does it back to Roman at WrestleMania 42 and wins the trilogy?
I've seen on social media that it sounds like WrestleMania 42 is going to be Cody versus Roman 3. I would personally, if you're going to have Randy Orton turn heel, which I think is the plan, that's where I would do that match at WrestleMania. Babyface Cody versus heel Randy Orton. That would be an excellent feud to do at WrestleMania. That's just me, but
I think you could do it, but I think Cody and Roman's bigger. It's no disrespect to Randy. There's just something about Cody. Cody and Roman is our generation's Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah, I understand that. Here's my thing with the women's tag team titles to get to that match. I'm fine with Charlotte and Alexa winning, and they retained their titles on Raw last night. But let's have other teams ready to challenge them. Don't have it be that, the titles have just vanished into the phantom zone, like what we've done in the past. I want it to be
like what we've done with the Women's United States Championship.
Bingo.
Or the World Tag Team titles over on Raw. My God.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, okay, you've done a good job, like building up the women's tag team championships. Now give me some story. Give me some teams, like the Kabuki Warriors. There's probably other teams we could put together,
There's the Secret Harvest. There's the Kabuki Warriors.
Exactly. There you go. It'll be interesting to see.
I will say, we know, and you talked about this a couple of weeks ago, fall is typically WWE's downtime, whether it's Monday Night Football and others college football on Friday nights. It feels like a lot of times after SummerSlam, WWE sort of goes in that sort of stay in neutral gear a little bit to Survivor Series and Royal Rumble time. I actually feel like we got stories to tell. Like, I think this is going to be a fun fall, more fun than usual.
I watched Raw last night because I'm like, well, that was a really good SummerSlam. Let's see how they follow it up. Every single match, distraction, interference, confusion, every single freaking match. And I'm like, really? This is how you follow up SummerSlam?
LA Knight, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Triple Threat, Clash in Paris, sign me up.
Like, as soon as that match was announced for the main event, I'm like, that match is ending in DQ.
It is the new regime trump card. Hey, by the way, I didn't ask you this, and I've been meaning to ask you this. Are you interested at all? Have you watched any of the WWE Unreal documentary?
Not yet. I definitely want to, though.
I have watched the first 3 episodes. You are a fan of professional wrestling. I know you are. You're a fan of all wrestling. You will like it, I think. It is definitely for the hardcore fan.
Yeah. I will be on a separate note, but related to wrestling. I am going to the Wolstein Center. I will be at AEW Dynamite tomorrow.
That's right. Have fun, bud.
I cannot wait. I am getting MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a grudge match, what could potentially be a number one contenders match. I am getting the Young Bucks, which I am loving this new gimmick. Oh my God. They don't even get a proper ring entrance anymore. They just are already in the ring and they're basically treated like jobbers. Like their graphic just says talent name. They're going against Bandito, and Brody King in the tag team tournament to see who will eventually challenge the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door. And we've got Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, coming back. We've got a fatal four-way to see who will represent AEW at Forbidden Door for the TBS Championship. I think it's Alex Windsor, Sky Blue, and I can't remember the other two. But that's what's on the card so far at Dynamite. By the way, Grandizer, we'll do. No, there really isn't an intermission, so I won't be able to do that. But to address this, I will be getting back to doing my Cleveland Browns live streams. You can probably expect content to start up again. I would guess this weekend. That's my goal. It's going to start with a schedule reaction where I give you my predicted schedule and then we'll compare it to the actual Browns schedule and see if I got anything right.
I have a quick little announcement of my own before we go. Josh, I haven't told you this yet because I just did it yesterday.
Yeah, I can't do. AEW doesn't really have an intermission, so I can't do that. And what? No, I did not do a live stream when I went to the Penguins game.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
Okay. We all know that it is reported that John Cena's last match is going to be at Saturday Night's Main Event on Saturday, December 13th in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
I have booked a flight to Boston, and I have booked a hotel. Without even the official announcement yet of what the match is going to be, I have reserved my hotel and my plane ticket to go see John Cena's final match.
Have you already bought a ticket for that?
For the event itself?
Yeah.
No, they haven't even announced it yet. But I have the full flight, I have the hotel, and I have everything under reserve in case it gets canceled or moved to get my full refund back.
So you are going to be at TD Garden.
Yes, I am.
Very nice.
So can't wait. Grandizer, if you missed our Brown segment, go back to the beginning of the show. You can check it out there. Guys, we are going to be returning on August 28th. That is a Thursday. That's when we're going to be previewing the college football week 1 schedule, which includes Texas at Ohio State.
And I'm not just going to leave it there. Because they unveiled the coaches poll. And this is now a top 2 matchup.
Oh, is it? I thought Ohio State was 3. I thought Penn State was 2.
I don't think so. Let me double check. AP coaches poll. No, it is Ohio State at number 2.
You're right. Texas number 1, Ohio State number 2.
Yes. So, and that is Lee Corso's final headgear pick. I've seen a lot of people saying College Game Day should have gone to Alabama at Florida State because of Lee Corso's. connection.
Oh, this is the biggest opening college football game of all time.
Yes, which makes me even more mad that it is a 12 o'clock kickoff. This is number one at number two. This needs to be in prime time. Kirk Herbstreit and Reese Davis need to be on the call for this, not Joe Davis and Joe Klatt. Or
you mean Gus Johnson and Joe Klatt, and Fox has the rights to the game. There's nothing you can do about it.
It is bullshit. I'm sorry. This game should be on ESPN in primetime on ABC with Kirk Herbstreit and Reese Davis on the call.
Go to bed early on Friday, August 29th. I don't know what to tell you.
It's annoying. Like, I want to see this game in prime time, not 12 o'clock noon.
Yeah, you're big on the primetime games. I've always told you I like the 1 o'clock games, and I like the noon games. You get football out of the way early. The rest of the night's good. You can do whatever you want. You can chill. You can relax. There's no waiting 7 hours for anticipation.
Grandizer, I will give you a little taste of my Browns schedule video that I'm going to do. I find it hilarious. The Browns have 0 primetime games this season. All their kickoffs start at 1 p.m. except for 3. The Minnesota game, which starts at 9:30. The Week 11 Baltimore game at home that kicks off at 4:30. And Week 12 at the Raiders that starts at 4 o'clock. Other than that, every game on their schedule is at 1 p.m.
I'm here to make a quick prediction on that. If Shedeur Sanders starts for more than 10 games, they will get 1 game flexed in the primetime.
It wouldn't surprise me. I did hear rumors that the game against the Packers was maybe going to be a primetime. Nope, it's Week 3 at 1 p.m.
Yeah, and they don't flex games until after Week 5, I believe it is, for Sunday night, and then it's after Week 12 or something for Monday and Thursday. So, but we got to leave it there, guys. August 28th, we'll be back talking college football. And then Sunday, August 31st, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Me and Josh Ungar will be here to give our official 2025 NFL predictions. Do not miss that show.
Yes, that is going to be a big one. Spoiler, I don't have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West.
Spoiler alert, I don't have the Cleveland Browns winning the AFC North.
What?
And with that, folks, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for listening to Championship Ring.